It's over. That resource you've been terrified you won't get. I already set it aside before you ever lost a single night's sleep worrying about it. You're not waiting for a provision to magically appear out of thin air. You're just delaying the moment you finally admit it's already there, locked away with your name on it, scheduled to arrive right on time. The problem was never the shortage. It was the doubt that made you run the numbers yourself, alone in the dark, on a problem I already solved before you even opened your eyes this morning. While you were adding it all up, I had already closed the books on my end. Stick with this video until the very end. Before it's over, you're going to receive a simple, no-nonsense protocol, something real you can actually use, that shows you how to recognize and claim what's already been set aside, even before it shows up in your bank account. And once you get this, your nights will never be the same again. You know the scene. The glow of your phone screen lighting up the bathroom in the middle of the night while the whole house is asleep as you open your banking app just to check. Again, a balance you already know by heart. It's not curiosity. It's you trying to find somewhere on that tiny screen an answer the numbers have never given you and never will. You wake up at 3 in the morning. No medication, no alarm, no reason you can name. And the first thought that hits you isn't a good dream or a happy memory. It's a bill. It's another bill. It's what still needs to get paid. What still hasn't come in. What probably won't arrive in time. The room is pitch black. The house is dead silent. But inside your head, a meeting you never called has already started. Right there in the dark, you take an inventory nobody asked for. You add up what already went out, what's still going out, what was promised and never showed. You mentally organize a spreadsheet that you tried all day to forget, and the night always brings it back, fully loaded, fully updated, completely relentless, like it was just waiting for the silence to creep out of hiding. And the more you tally, the less sleep you have. And the less sleep you have, the heavier tomorrow's total gets. And in the middle of all of that, there's a weight in your chest that doesn't have a clear name. It's not exactly fear. You seek. You dedicate yourself. You do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part, you start wondering if you're doing something wrong, if you're being heard up above, if it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video. Weight in your chest that doesn't have a clear name. It's not exactly fear. It's not exactly sadness. It's this feeling like you're carrying something far too big for your arms, all alone, in silence. While during the day, you smile at people who have no idea what goes on once the lights go out. You learned how to smile in public and suffer at home. You learned to say, "I'm fine," before anyone even asks. That's not weakness. That's the picture of someone who's still standing after so many late-night math sessions, after so many bills that never quite added up, after so many nights when sleep only came because your body couldn't stay awake anymore. You're still on your feet. And that's exactly why this message reached you now. Not before. Not later. You tried explaining to someone once what you felt at night, and when the words finally left your mouth, they sounded so small compared to the actual size of the weight. So you stopped trying to explain, and you learned to carry it in silence, all by yourself, as if it was yours alone to fix, as if no one else could possibly understand the size of that bill that never quite balanced. If any of this described you, drop a like right now, before you keep going. The like is your public amen. Heaven registers what you confess openly in front of whoever might be watching alongside you. I have 3 things to tell you before I go any further, and I need you to hear all 3 of them with total attention. because every single one of them will be pulled back up before this video ends, right in front of your eyes. First promise. That financial anxiety that visits you in the middle of the night doesn't come from actual lack. It comes from the enemy hiding from you a provision that was already set aside, long before the worry even began to exist in your mind. Second promise. Today I'm going to give you a simple protocol. No magic formula, no impossible demand, that reveals how to recognize and claim the resource that's already been separated in your name, even before it shows up on your statement. Third promise. By the end of this message, you're going to be able to declare out loud, with no doubt left in your heart, that your resources are already set aside and you don't need to lose sleep over them anymore. Each of those 3 promises is not a pretty sentence meant to calm you down for a few minutes. It's a commitment that will be fulfilled inside this same video, right in front of you. No beating around the bush, no distant deadline. I know every single calculation you did at 3 in the morning. I saw every total you tried to close all by yourself, in the dark, trying to predict what I had already worked out before you were even born. I placed you here because this word is for you, and it's no coincidence you're hearing it right now. Before I show you the signs, I need you to do something simple. Close your eyes for a moment, or just look away from the screen and take one slow, deep breath. What comes next isn't a list to memorize. It's a mirror for you to recognize yourself in. First sign, you wake up in the middle of the night doing mental math, trying to get ahead on paper of something that hasn't even happened in real life yet. You've been calling it insomnia, anxiety, some personality flaw that made you worry too much about money. But what it really is, it's not a flaw at all. It's your spirit processing during the night, a provision that your mind still can't see during the day. You're not broken. You're feeling, ahead of time, the weight of something that's already on its way. And the sooner you recognize that, the sooner those late nights stop being a courtroom and start being just a regular night of sleep. Second sign, small amounts of money show up at unexpected moments. Cash you weren't counting on, help that came from somewhere you never even asked, a discount nobody promised you, a debt that suddenly got forgiven or delayed for no reason. You've been calling that luck, a coincidence, a lucky break that won't happen again. But what it really is, it's not chance at all. Those are seeds of what's already been set aside for you, falling before the full harvest, proving the source never dried up and never will. Every one of those small amounts is a miniature proof that the larger amount is also reserved. It just hasn't reached the right day to show up in full yet. Third sign, old financial doors start closing without warning. A partnership goes cold for no clear reason. A job loses its meaning. A business stops moving forward despite all your effort and dedication. You've been calling that bad luck, a rough patch, everything falling apart at once right when you needed it to work out most. But what it really is, it's not punishment. I'm clearing the path for the new provision, because what's reserved for you doesn't fit inside what was old, cramped, too small for what's coming next. A door that closes without warning isn't an ending. It's a measurement being taken for the exact size of what follows. Fourth sign, people start offering help or solutions without you ever asking. Someone gives you advice, a referral, an opening, and you hadn't even mentioned to that person what you were going through. You've been calling that a coincidence, lucky timing, being in the right place at the right hour. But what it really is, it's no accident. It's the resource being moved by hands you never imagined would be involved before you even made the request out loud. I already spoke to those people before you realized you needed them. The next sign is the hardest one to hear. It's the one the enemy spent the most time trying to make you ignore, because he knows that if you recognize this sign, he loses his hold on you. Fifth sign, at the exact moment the provision is closest to arriving, the urge to give up hits you. To sell what's left, to hand over something important, way too early, for way too little. You've been calling that realism, courage to face facts as they are, finally accepting reality without illusions. But what it really is, it's not wisdom at all. It's the most used tactic to interrupt the harvest of a resource that was already set aside, right at the instant it was one step away from appearing in front of your eyes. If you felt that urge to drop everything just in the last few weeks, know that it wasn't ordinary exhaustion. It was the enemy racing against the clock, trying to make you let go right before the turn. If any of these signs just hit you, write "free" in the comments. Write "free" if this word reached you, even if you're still trying to make sense of everything you just heard. Close your eyes for a second. Breathe deep. What I'm about to tell you won't work if your attention is split between this message and anything else. There's a woman in the Bible who carried the same weight you're carrying today. She lived in a small town called Zarephath during a drought so severe nobody was sure they'd survive until the end of the month. She had only a handful of flour left in a jar and a little oil in a jug. Just enough, she thought, for one last meal before she starved to death along with her son. It was right at that moment that a man named Elijah showed up and asked her to make food for him first, before she took care of herself and her boy. By any human standard, that request made absolutely no sense. She had every reason to say no. But she obeyed one step at a time, without calculating the whole month at once, without checking her stock every hour. And here's what happened. The flour never ran out. The oil never dried up. Day after day, in the exact measure of her obedience, enough appeared again, and again, and again. Not because she had controlled everything perfectly, but because before she even knew it would be enough, enough had already been reserved in heaven, just waiting for the right time to show up in her jar. Now think of something closer to your reality today. Think of a deposit that was made into an account before the end of the month. A payment that's already processed. A credit that's already on its way, moved by a system that already authorized everything. Only the statement hasn't updated on the screen yet, and the person who owns that account spends the whole night refreshing the app, frowning, feeling their heart tighten, with no idea the money is already there, just waiting for the confirmation to show up at the right time. Their anxiety doesn't change the amount that was already deposited. It only delays the moment they finally rest, knowing it was always taken care of, from before they even opened the app the first time. And that's precisely what happens to you every time you pull out your phone in the dark, hoping to see something the system hasn't shown you yet. But that has already been decided in your favor. Just like the widow's oil didn't run out while she obeyed one step at a time, the resources already set aside for you appear in the measure of your trust, not in the measure of your anxious checking. The more you check in the dark, the slower the clock seems to move. The more you rest in the word that was spoken over you, the faster you recognize what's already arrived, what was already reserved, what never really ran out. The widow of Zarephath didn't know on that first night that her jar would still produce flour for months. She only knew to obey the step of that single day. And that's what I'm asking of you right now. Not that you understand the whole year at once, just that you trust the step of today, knowing that enough for tomorrow is already reserved, just like it was reserved for her. If you've already seen yourself as that widow, calculating the little that was left without knowing enough was already set aside, or if you've already felt like the person checking their statement in the dark, not knowing the deposit had already gone through, write the word "reserved" in the comments now, before I keep going. Write it even if you haven't seen the full amount appear yet, because faith doesn't wait for the statement to confess what it already knows. Let me stop for a full minute before I continue, because what comes next needs to be said with you truly present, not just half listening while you do something else at the same time. Fact number 1, you've already identified that specific financial anxiety you carry at night, the one that has a time, a setting, a weight in your chest, and that you try to disguise as responsibility for way too long. Fact number 2, you've already noticed at least once in the last few weeks one of the signs of silent provision that we just named, even if until now you didn't understand what it really meant in your life. Fact number 3, you resisted the urge to give up or hand over something important too early, even when everything inside you said it would be easier to just let go and quit for good. Fact number 4. You made it this far not looking for another pretty formula, but looking for confirmation that what you feel at night has an explanation, has a name, and has a real solution. These 4 facts together say more about you than any number on your statement. They say you held on when you could have given up. They say you stayed standing when you could have fallen. And they say you came this far searching for truth, not cheap comfort. And here's who you are inside all of this. I saw every calculation you did in the dark, trying to figure out on your own what I had already solved before you even asked. I saw you open your banking app at 3 in the morning, afraid of what you'd find on the screen. I saw the nightly inventory of what still hadn't arrived, done with almost trembling hands under the blanket while everyone around you slept, unaware of what was going on inside you. What you're about to hear now isn't a human title. It's what I call you when I speak to heaven about you. You are the one who has already been provided for. I saw your late nights of silent calculation, trying to predict a provision I had already set aside before you even closed your eyes to try to sleep. I saw the fear that the number would never balance, while I had already closed the account a long time ago on my end with the date and amount already set. That authorizes you to stop recalculating what's already been resolved. It authorizes you to act today with the certainty that the resource is already on its way. Not like someone waiting for a distant miracle, but like someone waiting for a delivery that's already been confirmed and is just en route to your door. You can move, plan, dream again, because what was stuck by doubt is now free by certainty. You are the guardian of what was reserved. I saw your faithfulness in continuing to manage well the little you had, even when you saw very little in the present, even when it seemed like taking good care of the small stuff didn't make any difference at all in the bigger picture of your life. That authorizes you to take care of today with excellence, without waste, without neglect, knowing that enough for tomorrow is already set aside and doesn't depend on your absolute control, only on your faithfulness with what's in your hands right now. You are an heir without a debt of anxiety. I saw the effort of trusting even when your statement hadn't changed a single letter, a single line, a single number. I saw you choose to believe again, even after so many nights when the proof hadn't yet arrived before your own eyes. That authorizes you to rest at night without recalculating, handing back to me the financial control that was never yours to carry alone, that was always from the very beginning, under my care. That debt you've already paid for way too long, with nights of sleep you never had to lose. Right now, in the comments, the name of the identity you just received. And if this word reached you at the right time, subscribe to this channel right now, because there are other words set aside with your name on them, waiting for the right time to reach you, one at a time. I'm going to give you now the protocol of the sealed provision. It's 3 simple steps, and I need you to take them seriously, because each one will unlock something that's been waiting for you longer than you imagine. Step 1. Name out loud, still today, the specific financial need that steals your sleep. Not a vague worry, but the exact number, the exact bill, the exact date that is weighing on you right now. Say it out loud, what it is, and consciously hand it over, saying, I don't carry this alone anymore. Step 2. In the next 24 hours, set aside, without spending, a small amount of money, or make a gesture of generosity, even a small one, as an act of faith in the provision that's already been set aside. It's not to solve the whole problem at once. It's to prove with a concrete, visible action that you believe what's missing is already on its way, even before you see the full result. Step 3. Before you go to sleep tonight, give thanks in advance for the resource that's not yet visible. Give thanks as someone who has already received, refusing to do one more round of calculations before you close your eyes. Lie down in silence, without opening your banking app, without reviewing one more time the mental spreadsheet you've already reviewed all day. If the thought of the bill comes back, don't fight it. Just answer in a low voice. It's already set aside, and let sleep come. The sign that this protocol is working won't be euphoria. It won't be an explosive feeling of instant victory. It will be quietness, a strange quietness at bedtime, sleep that comes faster than normal, a peace you won't be able to explain rationally because it's not born from a number on a statement. It's born from a provision already sealed in heaven before you ever asked. If you are receiving this protocol now, write received in the comments. Write received so that it's recorded that you received today what was already set aside for you. In the next 72 hours, 3 things will be launched against you. Not as a possibility, as a certainty. And I need you to recognize each one before they arrive. Because what has a name loses its power. The first tactic is called compulsive checking. It disguises itself as financial responsibility, as being careful, as being diligent with money. But its weapon is keeping you trapped in the anxiety of checking your phone in the dark, over and over, until checking becomes a habit, and the habit becomes exhaustion. It wants you to check what's missing so much that you forget to rest in what was already promised. Recognizing this tactic by name already takes away half the power it had over your late nights. The second tactic is called comparison of provision. It disguises itself as ambition, as wanting to grow, as healthy inspiration. But its weapon is shame, measuring what's missing in your life against what others seem to have achieved without effort. It wants to make you feel behind, small, forgotten, exactly at the moment your provision is being prepared in silence, far from your eyes. The third tactic is called giving up on the eve. It disguises itself as realism, as maturity, as accepting the facts as they really are. But its weapon is pushing you to give up, sell, or hand over something important, one step before the provision arrives, exactly when the harvest was closest to happening, right in front of your eyes. This is the cruelest of the 3 tactics, because it doesn't attack at the beginning of the wait. It attacks on the last step, when exhaustion is already the greatest and patience is already the smallest. And there's an enemy even more silent than these 3. It lives inside you and whispers, with a voice that sounds like common sense. If you don't calculate everything yourself, it will run out. That voice doesn't shout. It advises. It doesn't attack head-on. It suggests quietly, and that's exactly why it's the most dangerous of the 4. Because it disguises itself as prudence when, in truth, it's distrust of my provision over your life. None of these 3 tactics, and not that inner voice, have the power to change what has already been set aside for you. They only have the power to delay the moment you recognize what is already yours. And that delay ends now. I have already revoked the power of these 3 tactics over your life, and I have already silenced that inner voice at the exact moment you decided to hear this message all the way here. Write protected in the comments now. Write protected because the decree has been sealed over you. Today, at this very hour. Now I need you to do something with me. Put your hand on your chest. Close your eyes if you're in a safe place to do that right now. Take one slow, deep breath. I want you to hand over now 3 burdens you've carried for way too long. The first is the nighttime financial anxiety, the one that wakes you up without warning and makes you add up what hasn't arrived yet. The second is the habit of checking your phone in the dark, looking in a balance for a peace it never had the power to truly give. The third is the belief that you need to guarantee everything on your own, with your own strength. What was always under my care, from before you were even born. Say it out loud now if you can. I hand this over. I saw you in the middle of the night, with the glow of your phone screen on in the bathroom, trying to find in a number an answer that only I had. I saw you wake up at 3 in the morning. No medication, no alarm, just with the weight of a bill that never seemed to balance. I saw the inventory you took night after night, adding up what was missing, trying to predict on your own what I had already solved before you were born, before you even knew what money was. I was never absent during those late nights. I was right there, setting aside, moving, preparing, while you calculated in the dark, thinking you were alone in the entire world. What you called insomnia was my time of silent work in your life. What you called coincidence was my hand moving resources before your request even reached my ears. What you called a closed door was me clearing the path for what was already reserved, guarded, set aside, with your name written on it. I know what it cost you to smile during the day after a night like that. I know what it cost to keep paying the bills, keep meeting the commitments, keep showing up for people as if nothing was weighing on you, while inside, you were carrying a weight no one else could see. I saw all of it, and today, I break the power those late nights had over your sleep, from anxiety to rest, from calculating alone to shared trust, from fear of the statement to certainty of the provision, from a sleepless night to deep, peaceful sleep. I cover now your mind, so that thoughts of scarcity find no more space to settle in at 3 a.m. I cover your relationships, so that financial pressure does not turn into fighting, silence, or distance between you and the people you truly love. I cover your time, so that you stop trying to anxiously anticipate what I have already adjusted on the right clock. On the right day, I cover every area of your financial life, from the smallest bill to the largest debt, with the same provision I set aside for you before you lost a single night of sleep over it. I cover your work as well, so that you no longer work out of fear, but out of the certainty that today's effort is being added to a provision that already exists. I cover your home, so that inside it, financial peace reigns, not silent war. And I cover your future, so that when you look at the coming months, you no longer see an unknown, you see what I already see, which is sufficiency. It is done. What was handed over here has been handed over. You do not leave this video the same way you entered it. Now say it out loud, with conviction, looking inside yourself. It is done. My resources are already set aside. I don't need to lose sleep anymore. After you say that out loud, write the word "done" in the comments, so that it's recorded that you received today what was already sealed for you. Amen. Write "done" in the comments now, to seal this declaration in front of everyone who will also pass through here after you. And if there is someone you love who also spends nights calculating alone, afraid of what's missing, send this video to that person right now. Not to some random group, not to a faceless broadcast list. Send it directly to their name, to their face, to the specific person who came to your mind just now while I was talking about late nights and calculations in the dark. And if they want to go beyond this free protocol, the link is in the first comment, waiting for them just like it waited for you until this exact moment. In the next video, I'm going to show you what to do when the provision has already arrived, but the fear of losing it again tries to come knocking at your door. Stay alert, because that word is also already set aside with your name written on it, waiting for the right moment to be opened. Just like this message waited for you until today. It is done. You are not the same person you were when this message began. You seek. You dedicate yourself. You do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part? You start wondering if you're doing something wrong, if you're being heard up above, if it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video.